Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing a very interesting topic that has had a significant impact to our real estate market here in the Greater Toronto area today. And this is the stress test, the Canadian benchmark rate. But before I get into this, for those who are new here, my name is Clement. I'm a real estate broker here in the Greater Toronto area. In this channel, I really just specifically focus on everything to do with real estate. If you're finding value from all these videos, if you're finding value from everything that I'm talking about, you can just hit the like button or subscribe. Let's dive into the topic right now. So the mortgage stress test checks if you can still afford your approved mortgage rate at a higher interest rate. Stress test was first introduced in January 1st of 2018. At that time, the benchmark rate was 5.34%. Compared to today, the Canadian benchmark rate is 5.25%. So the stress test rate is typically higher than your approved mortgage by 2%. This only applies to those who are applying for a new mortgage, if you're refinancing, or if you're moving lenders, or if you're switching lenders as well. Now, why was this introduced? This was introduced to make sure that the borrowers are able to handle higher interest rates increases down the line. So you might be asking, how does this benefit us today? Now, the first benefit really is it has improved the stability and reduced the risk of defaults. We rarely see a lot of foreclosure properties as we saw in the United States in 2008, which is insanely bad. And the second thing, it has also increased the confidence into the financial system. Then finally, there's more responsible lending processes, because in 2016, 2017, the market was red hot at that time, and the interest rates at that point were around 2.14%. Now, the government clearly saw that this was not sustainable, and this is why the benchmark rate was introduced at that time, to control this, because at that time the prices were increasing at a very high step rate, and it was not sustainable at all. So once the benchmark rate was introduced, you just saw a complete downfall to the market. The market just went quiet, but you could also see that this was driven a lot. The increase of the price was driven a lot by a lot of people wanting to get into the market before the benchmark rate was implemented the following year of 2018. Mortgages were more difficult because of the more and more policies of control that were applied because of the red hot market in 2016, 2017. And this really just leads me to my next point, which is the cost of waiting. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I had conversations with a lot of buyers towards the beginning of the year. And typically, just to give you a quick understanding, usually when I meet a potential buyer, even a seller, we always do a buyer consultation, and I sit down and we have a good discussion on where you are with your purchasing endeavors, what you want to do, what you want to achieve. And we create a really good real estate action plan, is what I call it. And then from there, we have a good understanding of what we're going out to look for, what we're going after, and you have a good and clear understanding of your monthly payments and what you are able to be approved for and what that looks like for you today and down the line. Now, the reason I say this is because at the top of the year, I had buyers who were ready to move, but they wanted to wait. They wanted to wait and see where the market is going to be because of the uncertainty, which I'm also going to talk about down the line here. In the Greater Toronto area, the average price was $1,038,000. Today, the average price is sitting at $1,118,000. So that's a difference of around $70,000 there. In between that time, the market has obviously fluctuated, but I'm going from the top of the year to where we are right now. As it sits today, the purchasing price is really low, and it's a good entry for any buyer that wants to get into the market. This is only if you can actually afford the monthly payment. And this is driven by the next point that I have in here, and this is the demand that is in the market. Just to paint a picture for you, the last 12 months have been the slowest transactional volume that we've had for the last 25 years, sitting at around 60 to 68,000 sales that have been done as of this year. Just a good difference. In 2021, we were at 120,000 sales. In a normal market, typically we are always sitting at around 95,000 sales done throughout the year. Now, with that being said, we're currently sitting at 60,000 transactions behind. Now, this shows you the supply that is out there, which is very low, and the demand that is in the market, given the interest rates being the way they are. And what has caused this fifth point that I have here, which is a pullback, the uncertainty of not knowing what the future is going to hold, not knowing when is this going to stop. The cautious approach that buyers have, and rightfully so, because of properties are high. It's also the groceries are really high. You have kids you have to take care of. So all this uncertainty is causing the pullback, is causing buyers to just wait a little bit. Typically, uncertainty plays a huge factor in the real estate market. If you see what happened in 2016, 2017, when the market was red hot and the discussions of the benchmark rate were there that it is going to be introduced, we saw in 2017 the market just plummet. So this is the uncertainty that's always created by this. It was a good thing when it was introduced at that time. A lot of people did not think so. A lot of people thought this was just going to ruin the real estate market. Now, so what is going on today, the uncertainty that's happening today, it might seem like it's the first time, it's never ending, but typically with what's going on with the Bank of Canada, it is very secure. The government typically pays a huge attention to this. It's very meticulously done. So the market is going to be very sustaining, and it's just going to be a matter of time that the interest rates just drop slightly, and we're going to have a frenzy of buyers back into the market. And this is just going to create that pepped up demand in the pricing level. Now, it would be very unjust for me to talk about this pent-up demand on pricing without mentioning the rental market, because the rental market has shot up significantly. And this is because of the pricing on the resale side. You see, because a lot of buyers who are not able to afford the current average property. Because if you look at it in downtown Toronto, to be able to afford a property on a monthly basis, you want to have at least a monthly income of close to $5,000 to $6,000 to be able to afford and live comfortably. And that is not easy for the average Canadian. So what's happening? You're finding a lot of them are going into the rental side and renting a one-bedroom condo. That just shows you the demand that's there in the rental market as well. And the other thing that could be also playing a huge factor in the rental side is the fact that there's not so many properties out there at the moment. Currently, Canada is sitting on a shortfall of around 500,000 properties. Now, this has created that pent-up demand on the prices. And the rental side, you can see the government has now created a lot of rezoning in specific areas to allow rental properties to be built in these properties, in these lots as well. So that is a benefit in terms of the rental side. If you are an investor, this is just the best time for you, I kid you not, as an investor, because you're getting a property at a lower price point, and you're also getting tenants and rent at a higher price point. So that is something you want to really look into. Even if you're in a worst case scenario, you have options. You have options on whether to sell your property. You have options on whether to rent out your property and stay somewhere else. You have options in this market. So don't feel like you're stuck in this. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I'm always available to have a quick discussion. I have a link down below here where you can schedule a quick call, or if you want to get into a Zoom conversation with myself, I can always get this down for you as well. So until next time, see you in the next video. Thank you.